Danny, you were once a teammate of Scott Lawton's. Just can you maybe take us into how difficult it was to trade him today?
Yeah, trading Scott Lawton was one of the most difficult thing I probably ever had to do as a GM. What he means to the Flyers, always been here, the type of person he is, the teammate that he is, how helpful he was to not just his teammates, the coaching staff, the community, him and his wife. At the end, it's kind of a cool ending for him, having a chance to go back home and with the tragedy that they've had to endure this season as a family, to be able to go home. It was tough to let him go. The return was amazing, and on top of it, giving him the chance to go play for his hometown team, I think is pretty cool.
You told us a year ago that part of the reason you held on to him obviously was because you valued him for the culture, the culture setting aspect of it. What's your concern level with that now that you've taken him on top of, I guess, the prior move with Calgary?
Yeah, there's no doubt that it's a little scary. He was a big part of the culture, that we've I think been reestablishing the last couple of years. He was a big part of that. But at some point too, you got to let some of the young guys start to take over. We thank Scott for everything that he's done, and hopefully, he leaves a print on our locker room, and you see some of the young guys taking a step this year. You think about Noah Cates, Owen Tippett, Tyson Forster, Bobby Brink have all elevated their play, and you hope that they can use what they've learned from Scott.
Was it important to get you have 3 firsts in this coming draft? Was it important for you that the first round pick that you acquired was in a later year? I mean, is that?
It was preferable, at some point too, because that there's no guarantee that first round pick we will be picking. At some point, we hope to be one of those teams on the other side of the fence that are looking to acquire players. Like you mentioned, having 3 already this year, still our own next year. We felt, for us, that wasn't a problem to push it out that way. Those first round picks you saw today, you see on draft day, they're so valuable. It to me doesn't really matter. Even if it's pushed out a year or 2, they're still very valuable and a huge asset to have moving forward. So, we're excited to be able to move it out a little bit.
What was the conversation, I guess, like with Scott Lawton?
Emotional, from both sides. I mean, me personally, I played with Scott. I know him really well. He was a teammate for when he started in the league. So yeah, it was emotional for him, probably even more. Leaving everything he knows behind as far as the NHL, the only team he's ever played for. This is his family, so it was definitely tough. I think he had a lot of different emotions all at once. You could tell. There's one side that you feel you're losing something, and on the flip side, it's the opportunity is exciting for him. So it was a weird moment there for a few minutes.
You also traded, well, it hasn't been officially announced, but
Eric Johnson.
Yeah, another one of your former teammates.
Another teammate. Trading all the teammates away today. But yeah, in Eric's case, it's more of a favor to him to give him a chance to go chase a cup in a place that he played a lot of years, that he still has lots of friends. So it's not something that we were really looking forward to do. It was more for him to give him the chance to chase it one more time, maybe more.
Can you confirm the return was Giovanni Smith?
Yes, that's correct.
1-for-1.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the prospect you're getting from Toronto? Why was he someone that you were actively targeting, or how'd that all kind of?
Yes, he was. He was one of their prospect that we really liked. And when you're talking trades with other teams, it's not just by myself. We rely on our team of scouts, guys that travel rinks and watch these players play. And our guys were really high on him. Got excited when his name started, being mentioned as a possibility. He was definitely a target for us. They valued him more than a third-round pick. So that's how this one got done.
He's going to go to the AHL, you said.
To start with, that's the plan. But I don't know how soon he's going to play, but we certainly see him as a future Flyer.
Without getting into specifics, did you get many phone calls for other players that maybe weren't on that rumor circuit?
Yeah, there's a few names that came up. Most of the time it's just teams checking, hey, are you doing this, are you doing that? Would you consider this guy or that guy? There's a few other names that were talked about. I don't think I got really anywhere or anything serious with anybody else. And to be honest with you, Kuzmenko kind of came out of the blue today. And that just made sense. It's not like we were shopping him, but he's an unrestricted free agent. There's a need and a fit there with LA, and kind of worked for us as well. So that one got done pretty quick.
Danny, I gotta imagine Scott Laughton had a ton of interest. Are you willing to say just maybe how many teams or how many calls you got on him?
It's tough to tell, how many teams were serious, because teams they're trying to figure out first of all, if he's available and what's the price range. Some teams, and it's like anything else, they don't want to show too much interest. So it's really tough to tell. I probably talked to 14 or 15 teams on him along the way, even some teams that were not in the playoffs for a different reason. They had some interest. So there's a lot of interest. It's really hard to tell how serious it was for how many teams.
The reports were that the bar was really high for Ristolainen in particular. What I guess makes him so? And Torres has talked about him too, right?
Yeah.
How much he loves the guy. It seems. What makes him so valuable? I guess to the current group and where you guys are at.
Well, his play mostly. The way his play just keeps improving. Since when? I mean, he at first it was a little tough, but under this coaching staff, and I know he's dealt with an injury last year, but under this coaching staff, his play just keeps getting better and better. And it's no secret that we'd like to get in the playoffs this year, no doubt about it. Hopefully next year we can take a run at it. And we see him as a guy that you get in the playoffs, he becomes very, very valuable. I know he's never played there, but the type of hockey that he plays, the physicality, the size that he brings, and now on top of it, the way he plays with his stick, the way he skates the puck out of trouble, he's chipping in offensively. He's a guy that when you're on the ice against him, you're on your heels a little bit. You got to be aware where he's at all times. So it's just his play. His play has been just keeps improving and getting better and better. We feel if we traded him out of our top six, or you could say top four, it would leave a huge hole. And that's why we never considered anything serious, and teams were just not willing to pay what we felt the return is on him for us.
I guess following up on that with Ristolainen, you guys have a number of young defensemen down in the minors that are closing in on NHL readiness. How do you go about getting them chances at the NHL level if there are no spots available at the NHL level for them to play?
Well, when they're ready, we'll make room for them. An example of that is now Emile Andre's on his way up. will rejoin the team. You know, and Emil is earning it the hard way. You know, and he'll probably be here for a little while now. I would expect him to be here till the end of the year. But you have to earn it. You have to play well to get that recall, and we will make the hard decision to make room when guys are ready.
I know, you know, for almost 2 years you've been in charge here. It's been mostly subtracting, right?
Yeah.
And for various reasons. I know GMs often say, like this time of year, you have a lot of conversations trying to set stuff up for the off season. When do you expect, I guess, to start adding?
I wish it was now. You know, again, the team will let us know. I think we're getting closer and closer. You know, and we're looking into it now. We started doing that this trade deadline. It wasn't quite the right time, but more importantly, it's finding the right player. It's not just the timing of it. It's finding the right player. We've seen that in the past here. We've seen that from other teams when they decided, you know, it's one thing they decide, okay, it's time to do it, and they add, but they add the wrong player, and that's what we're trying to be careful with, making sure we bring the right players when the time is right. So it's a combination of both.
Hey, Danny, what would you say, broad-based, to Flyer fans that are out there, have things progressed the way that you kind of envisioned them while coming in here? You know, you got to take it a little slow, you assess it, and then go from there.
Yeah.
What would you say to fans out there that are kind of unsure about where things are right now?
What I would say is that we're in a really good spot. It's probably progressing a little quicker than that I even expected. Some of our young guys are stepping up. You look at, you know, the play of, you know, Mishkov, Cates' line, you know, and I know Urson has had a bad game against Calgary, but he's taken a step since Christmas. So there's a lot of positives. We're getting younger and younger as a team, and I think after I'm almost scared to look at our age group after today, but we're definitely going to be near the top of the youngest group in the NHL. So to me, that's exciting. We're going in the off season with 7 picks in the top 50 at this point, or right around there. That's exciting, and that group, we've said there's 3 groups of draft, starting with Mishkov's draft, you know, Luchenko, and then this year's draft. Those guys are going to be the bulk of you know, our core players, we hope, in you know, 5 years from now. So we're going in the right direction. We're really excited about that. The way I see it, we're just going to keep getting better and better. It's not going to happen overnight, and that's probably the toughest part, is the patience needed to get there. But I'm really excited about the way things are evolving.
Dan, did you see examples while you were still a player, and then immediately after, examples of teams that more or less either made trades or went for a free agent for the sake of doing that, in your opinion?
And you mean that didn't really work, you mean?
Yeah. And does that weigh into, you know, the way you're approaching it now?
Yes, in both ways. You know, and then there's been additions that have been really good and helped turn a team around quick, and then there's ones that have hurt for a long time. So, you know, I don't have all the answers, but we're trying to be careful to bring in the right players, and not just that. You know, it's not just about the timing thing. It's about the right type of players that we're going to need when the time comes. What's that?
The right mix here?
The right mix is a good way to say it. You know, it's making sure you don't add up on top of what you already have, or you know, there's going to come a time where we're going to have to take some chances when we know that. We just don't feel this is that time yet, or that player is available right now.
Danny, I know John Tortorella has said a couple times, somewhat jokingly, that you guys aren't going to spend this upcoming summer, but it does look like you'll have some money coming off the books for this offseason. You spoke a little bit about it, but do you think you guys could maybe tap into free agency this upcoming offseason?
It's possible. You know, it's too early to tell who's there, who's not. You know, we definitely have a little bit more flexibility. You know, it looked like we were still, last summer, we were still 2 years away from it. There's going to be a little opening this coming summer. It's too early to tell if you know, it's the right time to be aggressive or if the right player will be there. Realistically, you know, down the road, it's going to open up even more when some of the dead money is able to come off the books. But yeah, there's going to be a little opening this year, and it's possible that we're able to do some things with it, but I don't know to a degree yet.
Nikita, you said that you guys were targeting him, but what was it about his game that makes him so interesting?
And I'll be honest, I rely a lot on our scouts for that. I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen a few shifts here and there. He seems very energetic, big body that is strong on the puck, can make plays. What I was told is that he needs to work within a structure, needs to learn to work within a structure. But there's a lot there. The size, the energy, the competitiveness is what I was told is high end.
You do have some room for other call-ups besides Emil now, so who, do you know which forward?
Yeah, I think the plan, I would say right now the plan is to bring Lixell and Abels for the weekend. So that's something that we're, you know, now that the shift goes, you know, to the roster and eventually, you know, our free agents and college players, junior players, what we're going to do with them, and also the draft. So we kind of had a push here till 3 p.m. and now we're starting to shift towards different things.
Is Jet? Could we see Jet back at some point?
So that's all part of what we need to discuss and all the rules and what we're allowed to do. And I try to be careful and respectful of his junior team because they're battling for a playoff spot right now. So we're trying to be respectful there. But we're going to start looking into it a little deeper now.
Thanks, Danny.
Thanks.